iOS 18.6 is finally here. After going through 3 beta stages and of course the RC version, Apple has finally released iOS 18.6 to the public. Now, even though this update is not big when it comes to new features and changes, it is still a very important update. Now, of course, it will bring a ton of fixes and improvements that you need for your device, but it is also very important, especially for users that have an older iPhone like the iPhone XS, XS Max, and the iPhone XR, because all of these devices actually won't support iOS 26, which will be released later this year, actually in September. That's why this is very important, because most likely this will be the last big update to your device, bringing very important fixes and improvements. So I suggest that everyone with one of those devices must update immediately to the new iOS 18.6. And of course, once you have updated your device, there are always things that are really important that I suggest you must do on your device immediately after you have installed a new software update, in this case, the new iOS 18.6. Now, the first one will be to set up your updates the right way. So with this update released, most likely we will have also minor releases in the next weeks and months. So you don't want to bother with them, trying to install them. You want everything to happen automatically, so you don't have to do anything, but you still get all the updates, all the fixes that are really important for your device. So make sure after you have updated that you go to the software update and then go to the automatic updates. You will have 3 different options right here. So you will have automatically install iOS updates. You enable it right there. Security responses and system files. This is actually really important, even though very rarely Apple has released any of these, but make sure you have those enabled. If they release them, of course, you just go ahead and have your device automatically update. And then you can also choose to automatically download the updates, the new updates that will come out for your device by enabling right here. Once you have all of these 3 turned on right here, you don't have to bother with future updates. Everything will automatically be downloaded and installed on your iPhone. Now, the next thing you must do if you have installed any of the betas of iOS 18.6 on your device, of course, you need to make sure that you have updated to the latest version. Now, of course, if you have been on the betas, you update to the RC version, so you're good to go. If not, of course, you just make sure you update to the final release of iOS 18.6. But what I suggest you do here is go to the beta updates and turn them off if you had them turned on. Now, especially if you have a device that doesn't support iOS 26, you no longer need to install any betas on your iPhone, and probably there might not be any betas for iOS 18 as well. So there is a chance that iOS 18.7 might come out in the future, but there's also a chance that that might not go on beta stages at all. So just go ahead and completely turn off beta updates. Of course, if you don't want to install any more betas and you don't think about installing any betas of the new iOS 26, just go ahead and completely turn them off. Now, with new releases, as you probably have noticed in the past, when you actually install a big update to your device, there are a lot of times that there will actually be updates for your carrier as well. Now, those are really important, as of course they have an effect on the signal strength of your iPhone and the quality of your signal. So what you want to do is always make sure that you have your carriers up to date. So a way to do that after you have installed an update like iOS 18.6 on your device, it is actually very simple to do. All you have to do is head on to your settings, go under the general settings, and then go to the about section. Once you go here, you stay here for like 5 to 10 seconds, and if there is a carrier update, it will pop up on the screen right here. Of course, you need to make sure that you have your iPhone connected to cellular or the Wi-Fi, and you will get that update right here on the screen with a pop-up asking you to install it. You simply tap install. It's done in a few seconds. It doesn't need to reboot the device or anything like that. It just installs in the background and you're good to go. You have the latest carrier update installed on your iPhone, meaning that you will have the best reception and the best quality on your calls possible with that carrier update. Now, when it comes to updates, you need to make sure that you also update your apps once you have updated your iPhone to the new iOS 18.6. A lot of the big apps will actually release updates right after a big iOS update, so the apps are more compatible and work better with that new update. So you need to make sure that you update all of your apps. Head on to the App Store, go to your profile, to your account right here, and make sure you have updated all of your apps. Now, if you don't want to bother with that, of course, you can always head on to the Settings app, and from here, you just go under your apps and then go to the App Store. What you can do right here is go ahead and choose automatic updates right here, so you will have automatic downloads, app updates. You have that enabled, meaning that all the apps for which you will have updates on your app store will be, of course, with time updated automatically, so you don't have to bother with checking the app store and see if there's an update for any of your apps. Especially if you have a ton of apps on your device, you don't have to bother with that. You simply enable the automatic updates and you're good to go. Everything will be done automatically. Next up will be the battery. Now this is really important. Head on to the settings of your device and go under the battery section, and make sure you go ahead and check the battery health and charging right here. As you can see, this device has the battery at 73%, which of course means that we have the services device, but you will have to check this and see at what percentage is the battery health of your device after you have updated. Now here's why this is important. Usually the battery health will stay stuck at the percentage, so you probably have seen that the battery health of your device might, let's say, stay at 82%, and it will stay like that for maybe a month or two and won't drop below. That's because it's basically an error, and every time you update your iPhone to a new iOS update, iOS will recheck all the components of the iPhone. That time it will display you the real battery health. So let's say you have a device about 82 or 83% battery health and you think you're good to go, don't need to still service the battery of your iPhone. Well, once you update it, it might have dropped even below 80%, because usually that's what happens. It will stay stuck at a number for like weeks, maybe even months, and then once you update it, once everything is recalibrated, it will drop like 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 points. So that's why you need to check it and make sure that you still have your battery over 80%, which means that you're getting the better performance out of your device. As you probably know, once it's dropped under 80%, you will have bad battery life, but also your device won't perform as it should. Next up, what I suggest you do is head on to the privacy section of your iPhone and make sure you check all of these sections right here. Now, of course, this is something that I suggest you always do regularly, but a lot of people probably will forget. So now that you have the time to actually focus on your device and update it, once it's updated, you can also go ahead and give it like 5 minutes and check all these things right here that are really important, like the location service right here, so you can see which apps are using your location and configure them the right way. See if you have maybe by mistake allowed any app to view your location. Then you will have the tracking, and you will have the important things here like your microphone, your camera, your local network, and all these stuff. So just go ahead and check all of these and make sure you don't have there any app that wasn't supposed to be there. So when installing apps, a lot of times we are on a rush to get into the app, and when we have a ton of pop-ups there, we might by accident actually allow an app to have access to any of the sensor of the device, maybe the camera, the microphone, or the location. So you need to go ahead, check that, and make sure that all the apps that are supposed to be there are there. And last but not least, if you have a device that supports the new Apple Intelligence features and you don't use them, you have turned them off, make sure you go ahead and go to your settings and quickly check if they're still off. Now, this is a problem that is happening with every iOS updates with a lot of users. A lot of users actually see that the Apple Intelligence features are turned on automatically after an update, even though they have turned them off before. So if you're not using Apple Intelligence on your device and you want to keep it off, make sure that you check it and see if this update has turned them on automatically or not. So that's basically it for this video, guys. These are some really important things that I believe you must do on your iPhone once you have your device updated to the new iOS 18.6. So thank you guys for watching the video. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you did, smash that like button and of course subscribe for more videos like this, and I will see you guys on the next one.